this lesson, think about that, okay? Think about it. And really brings the point home that it starts the thoughts. The thoughts are the things that fuel that feeling, okay? That's the point I want to bring home here, all right? Now, the next thing in our sequence we have are the feelings, of course, right? That's why when we take it back to the STOP acronym, right? Self-control is really controlling those thoughts because thoughts lead to feelings. Controlling those feelings because those feelings lead to behavior, right? I always bring it home back to that STOP acronym because it's so important, okay? But we go to our feelings. Our thoughts produce our feelings. So therefore, hot thoughts justify your reason to feel angry. Does that make sense? You justify your own anger by those hot thoughts that you're choosing to hold on to. Okay? Angry feelings can cause physical changes, like how we said, increase in heart rate. You know, you're breathing faster, your fists might be tightening up, depending on what you're about to do, right? Or what situation you're in. And anger also creates a vicious cycle, okay? Once again, when we take it to the extreme level, anger that is uncontrolled, that turns into rage, can cause physical harm. And we see that every single day. Anger causes physical harm to someone. And furthermore, it causes mental anguish to someone. Okay? All right, that's why it's important to pay attention to those very physical changes. That very time that you just start, you feel like your heart, I know for me, I get a headache, right? And you just start, it's very important to pay attention to those anger cues, okay? So, one more thing for you guys at this time is I want you to think about your anger cues, okay? What's typical for you? And anger cues meaning the physical changes. Does that make sense? Because Jessica, you're looking at me like, what?
I just can't think of any.
You can't think of any?
I mean, I'm sure they're there.
Can't think of them right now? Okay, well, like I told you, I get a headache, right? I get a headache, and I have this, I was talking to the class last week about this feeling in your heart. I don't know how to explain it, but when I get angry, that's what causes my headache, and it's just like this, right? Okay? All right, so pay attention to those anger cues. That's important. So keep thinking on those, because if you can't think of them right now, okay, keep thinking on those, because you don't want to get to a point where you don't even recognize it, okay? Because that's when it can spin out of control. All right? All right. So control your hot thoughts. It starts at those thoughts. Okay. So there are 3 typical ways an angry person responds. 3 typical ways. It's very important. This is another thing that we need to recognize, okay? Knowing your anger style. It's called anger style. Okay? All right? Yeah. The first one, withdrawal. Withdrawal. Your first anger style is withdrawal. What do you think I mean by withdrawal?
The silent treatment?
It could be a silent treatment, yes. There's a specific thing I'm looking for. Specific thing. I guess think of this picture. Is she around friends and family?
Isolation.
Isolation. That's what I'm looking for. Withdrawal is isolating yourself from, whoever is making you, your family, your friends. It doesn't even necessarily have to be the person who made you angry. Okay? But withdrawal, it's important to know that withdrawal is not showing self-control. Okay? Because when you withdraw, 9 times out of 10, you're tending to hold on to those angry feelings until you reach your breaking point. Okay? So if you ever had a day where it's just, your day is going bad, the coffee machine blew up on you, you're trying to drive in traffic, somebody cut you off, right? and your day is just going horribly, right? Or someone said something to you that was offensive, and so you just, okay, you know, you're holding on to it, and you just don't want to talk to anybody whatsoever, right? And you're holding on to that anger, then somebody could say, hey, Jessica, how you doing today? Man, I told you to leave me alone, right? That is why it's not showing you self-control, because you're actually bottling up, and it's still fueling that anger, okay? Even though you may not necessarily be saying something about it, and we're going to talk about how to effectively do it in a better way to separate yourself from the situation. Okay, so the second one is,
Wow.
the second one is called displacement. Displacement. Can everyone take a stab at what displacement is just by looking at that picture?
Being angry at a situation, a person taking that on something or something.
Exactly. Being angry at a situation or someone and taking out on boxes.
One of those boxes too.
Boxes or inanimate objects, but also people, right? You could take, you know, for example, someone says something offensive to you and you're so upset about it. You go home, you see your friend, your family member or whoever, and you're just PO'd at them for something someone else did. That's displacement, yes.
I remember one time when I was younger, every time, like, I guess I hit something or something hit me or I expected it to hit me, like a wall or something, I hit the wall. You know, I guess I was taught that, but
Yeah.
I was taking it out on the wall.
Showing it, taking it out on the wall. Yeah. And like you said, what's the wall do to you? But that's displacement. That's a common way that people show their anger. Okay. And once again, it doesn't have to be an inanimate object. It could be a person that had nothing to do with what angered you. Okay. And then the third one is what? Shopping? No, not really.
So she was shopping. Steve?
Oh, arguing with the person that you're angry at
Hmm?
instead of displacing it?
Yes, but what I'm looking for, and you know, as I look at this picture, it probably doesn't convey what I was trying to say, but the third anger style is attack. Does that even look like it slightly? The third anger style is attack.
Slightly.
Oh yeah, I just
Yeah.
got the foot on the knee.
I kind of thought, you know, foot, you know, to the guy, anger
Give me
face,
my stuff.
you
Not
know.
bad, that's it.
You see it? The third style is attack. Okay? That means you've gotten to the point, once again, that you attack the person, physically or verbally. Okay? So the third style is attack. And that's the dangerous part. Okay? Just like rage is the dangerous part, it's the same thing. Attacking is the dangerous part. And we're trying not to get to that point. So one thing that you need to remember is that all three of these are showing a lack of self-control. And what are we trying to learn in this class? How to apply self-control to our anger. Okay? A perfectly normal emotion, but we need to respond in appropriate ways. Okay? Yes.
Right, I just have to ask, like, maybe this is an extreme situation, but if somebody, say there's no one else around and you're with your child or somebody and then some other person comes up and tries to rough them up or hurt them and you have to do something to protect that person, so you go up to the guy or the gal and you try to grab him off of her or him. I mean,
Give me a specific. Are you saying someone's coming?
If two people are fighting and you see you trying to stop it.
they're not fighting, like someone's being attacked. If someone's trying to kidnap your kid, you have to go, you have to do something.
Oh, someone
Yes.
trying to kidnap your child.
Something like that, or trying to punch your friend, or, you know, unprovoked, and then don't you have to do something? You can't just sit there and say, well, I'm gonna use self-control and I'm not.
Well,
gonna do
self-control is not necessarily, okay, it doesn't mean that you're not doing anything whatsoever, okay? Now, I was saying that previously, because we talked about that self-defense, right? there's a difference between self-defense and if you ever assault. If you ever seen someone, say for example the situation we're talking about, and you ever seen someone, they're coming up and they're trying to kidnap or whatever to the child, right? But instead you may grab that person back, and instead of trying to defend the child, now you're trying to assault that person. Do you see the difference?
Okay, so say you're trying to grab the child away from
Mhm.
the person, so that's what the difference is, if you're trying to either grab the child or the attacker?
Well, okay. If you're trying to grab the child, yes, that's defense. You're
Well, you can't
defending.
get to the child because he's bigger and he's cognizant like this, you can't get to the child.
Okay,
I took a rape and aggression defense class, and I think it's all in your intent. If your intent is to hurt the person rather than save the child, I think that's what makes the difference.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, if your intent is to get him away from the child and get the child away, then that's one thing. But if your intent is to hurt him for trying to hurt the child, I mean, I guess it's more important to make sure everybody's safe than to try to hurt somebody. And I think that's the difference.
Right. Does that make sense?
Like, if you have to
If
get
you
to him
have
first to
to-
get to the child, okay, you have to do what you have to do to save the child. But if if the child is already safe and then you're still just trying to attack and hurt the person, then that's a whole other thing.
No, I'm just trying to get the victim safe, that's all.
Right.
Yeah. I
So
think
it's
the
all
intent.
in your intent, okay? Because I've seen cases where people, okay, the attacker, instead of trying to, okay, they're trying to help their friend or whoever, right? But instead of trying to help the friend, they completely forget about this person because they're trying to hurt someone else, right?
Like, the most important thing is just to get everybody safe, not to hurt another person.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
So was that in the first class, because I wasn't here in the first class?
No, we didn't talk about it this series, but we talked about it previously.
Oh,
Okay, so that means that there's a difference. So, I mean, self-defense is not, okay, if your child is obviously in danger, you're not gonna, okay, self-control, okay? You know, it would be to pull that child away, and then once you and whoever has gotten safe, you take steps, okay, I'm gonna call 911 or whoever, because someone just attacked so-and-so. Your best bet really is to try and get more so away from the situation. You know what I'm saying? Or get whoever, your loved one or whatever, away from the situation, because you don't know if it's a big guy like you're saying. You don't know what you're getting into if your intent is now to hurt that person who was trying to hurt whoever. Make sense?
right, I just want to keep the victim safe, that's all I was asking.
Okay, cool. All right, just want to make sure you understand.
Thank you.
Okay. So furthermore, you are responsible. You are responsible for your controlling your anger. Okay? No one, once again, no one can make you angry, and no one can control your anger for you. Okay? No one can control your anger for you. In the manner that you choose to be angry, you can also choose to handle your anger in appropriate ways. Okay? Once again, that goes back to thoughts being so powerful, right? We can choose, okay, I'm not going to let this blow up. If this is a situation where I can clearly walk away from, I'm not going to let this blow up. You see what I'm saying? You have the choice to deal with your anger in an appropriate way. Okay? You can choose to avoid causing harm to yourself and others. Controlling your anger means not allowing it to turn to rage. By being aware of those anger triggers, just like how I had you write them down, being aware from your anger triggers. Now, that's not saying that you only have 3 anger triggers and that's it, right? I mean, if you do, kudos. Okay? But being aware of those anger triggers and sort of kind of set your mind in advance. So, for example, if you know someone who repeatedly pops their gum when you go to work, right? Set your mind in advance. That really helps. Okay, I'm going to go to work. I'm not going to let this bother me. Matter of fact, I'll probably try and speak to them about it, maybe voice it to them. And although, like not everyone's trying to have this peaceful solution in their